Hey everybody, I'm making a video this week to talk about what we're up to on MuscleMusic instead of typing out an email because it's more trauma-informed. And seeing my face and hearing my voice not only helps you feel safer with me, but I can feel safer with you. The problem is that our safe and social state tends to be very weak under capitalism, and as artists, this is the hardest place for most of us. Most people think that it's the being stressed or being shut down or even being creative that's the hardest part. And for artists, those are usually the easiest states to be in. The safe and social state in which we really need to connect, we struggle with. So I'm going to lead here and lean into connecting more, even though it's uncomfortable for me too. So MuscleMusic is about using that connective muscle more and more and more, so it feels more like, oh yeah, I can do that. That's a go-to. And yeah, so I'm going to try to make a video instead of an email if I have time. Thank you for your messages about the MuscleMusic pricing change. It made me feel seen and loved, and I so appreciate your support. Our sessions are on Tuesday and Thursday, and we have a Wednesday session where we're going to be talking about how to handle dysregulation over the holiday and just making a mini plan about what we want to do and how we could approach it with more embodiment and more intention. And lastly, I just wanted to give you a little exercise that we used in MuscleMusic this week that I thought would be helpful, and also was helpful for me when I needed to figure out a decision around the pricing change in MuscleMusic and how I made that decision despite having dysregulation around it. So when we need to say a yes or a no to the world, like yes, I need to change the price, or no, this isn't working for me anymore, it's often very difficult to actually take action when we have dysregulation, when we have a no or a no, or a yes or a yes, instead of yes and no. So to embody a yes or no could be completely overwhelming to a system. So people pleasers aren't people pleasing because they want to, it's because they're flooded with fear and shame and anger when they actually go to say those yes or no's. So one thing, a way of working with this is that if we can practice an embodied yes or no. So we can physically do it and use it, try to actually express one like I just did, like a yes or a no, a firm no. A firm no is a yes to yourself, by the way, is to hold whatever's in our way. So, someone in MuscleMusic felt like she was feeling anger this week, and anger was in the way of saying yes or no. For me in my MuscleMusic journey, it was the feeling of being unliked or unloved or wrong in some way. And so what we did was we took this part, and instead of pushing it away, clamping it down, we actually include it in our experience. And I asked them to put this little part into your hands and imagine it as a little Muppet creature, like a furry little feisty little man or woman or person or thing or creature, and say, and turn it into just that. And let it talk, let it get mad, let it feel its feelings, but really cup it in your hands like a gentle, like you're welcome here, you're welcome in my experience. And then once that part is embodied, it's not only doesn't feel like it's huge and taking you over, it's being held and mothered and cared for, which allows some space for me to say yes. And then it's still present, it's still here. It may not be totally metabolized or totally taken care of yet, but it's taken care of in the sense that it doesn't have to take us over. It doesn't have to run our lives anymore. And for performers, I also say that you can do this on stage. So you can take this little part and you can put it on the side of the stage and let it watch and let it monitor, but it's not taking you over. So that's one thing I did to make this decision, or even figure out what my decision was and know the difference between shame and fear and my own intuition and my own knowing about what was right for me. Because when they're blended, it's very unclear and it's very hard to say a solid yes or no. So my challenge for you this week is to figure out what your yes or no's are this week. What are your challenging parts that need clarity? And the protocol is to take the surrounding feelings, whether it's fear, anger, sadness, concern, worry, and to embody it into a little fluffy, Muppet-like part. Let it talk, give it a name, give it a color. Mine are often bright orange or bright blue, and love it and let it be there. And then see how your body feels with it outside you just a little bit. And if this feels too overwhelming, you can do it with another person. You can do it with us on MuscleMusic if you want. You can do it with a therapist. You can do it in co-regulation if it's still too overwhelming to do it individually. But I think a lot of people love doing this kind of thing in private because it's a little silly. And sometimes it takes a while to figure out like what exactly do we need to put in our hands. So that's just a little thought for this week. What are your yeses and what are your nos? What is one thing that you could say, yeah, an embodied yes to, or an embodied no? And I hope this helps a little bit in that process. Thanks again. If you have anything you need, let me know. There will be some new videos this week on MuscleMusic, and I will tease them on the Instagram so that you know they're coming. And yeah, happy deep fall. And I'll see you on Zoom this week. Or again, finally, lastly, I just want to say someone was saying, like, I got to be honest, I use the app when I need it, which is when I'm really dysregulated. And that's totally fine. And also another reason to use the app is that when we are dysregulated, we can't remember the tools. Even me that made the app, I use the app when I'm dysregulated because we lose prefrontal cortex activity. So the executive functioning part of our brain that we lose when we're really dysregulated is the same part of our brain that remembers what to do when we're dysregulated. So if you're using the app because you need to when you're dysregulated, that's what the whole thing is for. There's nothing wrong with you. Does it help to practice it twice a week? Yes. Will you remember what to do better if you practice it? Yes. Do you have to? No, because that's what the app is for. So if you're feeling dysregulated, then go there and do a workout or use some of the tools to regulate. There's nothing wrong with you. We all lose parts of our prefrontal cortex, our executive functioning, our ability to have impulse control, and remember protocols when we are dysregulated. So please, that's the whole point. And yeah, have a great week. Thank you again and see you later. Bye.